So that is my latest painting on my online painting school. Links in the description below. This painting has been painting using entirely acrylics, which is unusual for me because most of my work is in oil. But anyway, if you want to learn how to do this in detail, this painting will be released on my online painting school in a few weeks' time. So please go and check that out. Anyway, let's get into the video. So as always, just starting here with obviously the sketching diagram and a simple block-in. As we're using acrylics for this whole painting, this block-in is with acrylic, and we're looking for the middle tone. So not the darkest areas of the painting, not the lightest areas of the painting, but somewhere in between. Okay, so there we have the block-in. As always, once that block-in is completely dry, and it has to be completely dry, I start adding the darker sections. Now, as you can see here, the block-in itself, those middle tones, are still showing through. We're not covering over it entirely. I'm adding texture using the Tree and Texture brush, a brilliant brush for doing this sort of thing, and actually it's pretty good for all sorts of texture, from foliage to texture on rocks, texture on stone, things like that. Now this is a really important part of the process here. Can you see, we can still see that very harsh block-in line. Now we need to lose that. So what I tend to do in this situation is I'll add a little bit of the tree colour over the sky. And then if needed, and it probably will be, I'll add some of the sky colour within the tree as well. And it's just a case of losing that solid line there that we had with the block-in. So now you can see me moving over here to adding the highlights. So this is in a way, it's the third stage of painting realistic foliage. So we have the middle tones, which you saw me block in. Then you've seen me add the darks. This is me now adding the highlights. This brush also is very good for painting those highlights, and in particular painting tree highlights there. This is series 12. I believe this was the size 1. But I just use the very corner of the brush to apply the paint, and it gives us almost like an upside down V, just using the very corner, putting hardly any pressure on at all. I'm looking for these brush marks, these stippled brush marks, to be as small as possible. And this is another method. I tend to use this more for closer foliage, and that's using the rigger brush. Still looking for an upside down triangle, but it just allows us to be a bit more specific with where we're placing the colours. And that brush, as you can see here, is also used for doing the branches. This is one of the superfine rigger brushes that's available in store. That's the series 1, I think 50. So there's just a line of reeds here, just along the waterline there. I've added the darker shades once again with that same flat brush that I used for the foliage, the Series 12. And now back to the rigger again, just to put in those smaller details. So when we have more dense areas of darker colour, I use something like a filbert brush, or any brush, any soft brush would work actually. And then in amongst that, going back to the tree and texture brush. This is my typical process now of actually painting grass and anything that requires a little bit more of a stipple, so with that paint to be applied thicker. This fan brush is perfect for this sort of thing. Really good for grass. I've been using it for grass for years and years and years. And you can even use it for trees as well. Once again, it'll give you, if you use the corner, it'll give you that same technique, that little upside down V, which is what I tend to like for foliage. So I'm going to do, using the larger brush, this is the Series 7 size 16, I'm going to get some vertical brush strokes over the top there. Now, I'm quite happy in a way that you can, if you can see some of the blocking underneath, because often when you get a river like this, you can see some of the riverbed underneath. Now, as we did with the trees above, we introduced some of the tree line into the sky, and here we're adding some of the sky into the tree line. We'll still be adding some ripples, some darker ripples over that sky reflection as well. And here we are doing that now with the rigger brush, the Series 1. So it's a case of just building up on these lighter little bits, reflecting off the top of the ripples there. Obviously there's a fair amount of movement in this water, so we need to make sure that we get that to look correct. And let's not forget the reflection of those grasses. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that video. Now, as I did mention earlier, that this is a full painting lesson on my online painting school, MJS TV. Link is in the description below. I think there's probably best part of 1,000 hours of tuition in my online painting school. So if you want to learn to paint like that, if you want to learn to paint really detailed paintings, including portraits, still lifes, landscapes, you name it, it's all there. Head over to the school now. Anyway, please give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe so you don't miss any further content. Okay, happy painting everybody. I'll see you all soon.